I'm 85 now. At this age, people expect your voice to carry comfort. They expect your stories to be gentle, softened by time, wrapped in nostalgia. They expect you to talk about things like first loves, old homes, the laughter of children who are now grown. They expect memories that feel warm. But not all memories grow warm with time. Some remain exactly as they were the day they were created, sharp, unfinished, waiting for a moment when you are finally strong enough, or perhaps tired enough, to stop hiding them. And I think I have reached that moment. I have lived a long life, long enough to watch entire generations grow up and move on, long enough to see the world change in ways I never imagined. But there is one part of my life that never moved forward. It stayed behind, locked in a single day, when I was 18 years old. And for 70 years, I told no one the truth about it. Not fully, not honestly, not in a way that allowed me to breathe. At 18, you think you understand yourself. You think you know what you would do in a difficult situation. You believe you are strong, aware, capable. But the truth is, at 18, you are still learning the language of the world. You are still learning what danger feels like. And more importantly, you are still learning that danger doesn't always look dangerous. People used to tell me I was beautiful. It is a strange thing to be told that over and over when you are young, because at first it feels like a compliment. But over time, it begins to feel like something else, like being watched, like being evaluated, like people are seeing something in you that you don't yet understand yourself. I remember the way people would look at me, not all of them, but enough that I noticed. Longer glances, unspoken thoughts, smiles that felt heavier than they should. At that age, I didn't have the words for it. I only had the feeling. A quiet discomfort I couldn't explain. He was my teacher, a man who knew exactly how to behave. That's important to understand, because people like him don't reveal themselves easily. They are careful. They are patient. They build trust slowly, piece by piece, until you stop questioning them. He was respected, admired, the kind of man parents would describe as safe. And I believed that too, at least in the beginning. He started with attention, small things, calling on me more often in class, asking for my opinions, praising my work in front of others. It didn't feel wrong. In fact, it felt good. It made me feel seen. And when you are young, feeling seen can be very powerful. Then came the conversations, after class, when everyone else had left. He would talk to me about my future, my potential, my abilities. He made it sound like I was different from the others, like I needed more guidance, more time, more attention. And I believed him, because why wouldn't I? He was a teacher, someone I was taught to trust. Looking back now, I see the pattern clearly. But at 18, it didn't look like a pattern. It looked like kindness. He began suggesting that I needed extra help, that if I wanted to succeed, I had to put in more effort. He offered to help me outside of school, at his home. The first time he asked, I said no. I remember that very clearly. I felt uncomfortable. Not afraid, just unsure. So I refused. He didn't argue. He didn't push. He simply smiled and let the moment pass. And that's what made it easier for him later, because he didn't make it a confrontation. He made it a process. He asked again and again, each time gently, each time as if it were nothing important, until it started to feel normal. But I still refused. Something inside me, something quiet but persistent, kept telling me not to go. And for a while, I listened to that voice. Then he changed his approach. There was a girl I trusted. Her name was Laura. We weren't inseparable, but we were close enough that I believed her intentions were good. She was friendly, confident, more outgoing than I was, and when she spoke, she sounded certain. One day she brought it up casually. She said she had been going for extra help. She laughed about it, like it was nothing. She told me I was overthinking, that it wasn't strange, that I was being too serious. When someone you trust dismisses your concerns, it changes something inside you. You begin to question yourself. You start to wonder if maybe you are the one who is wrong. Maybe you are imagining things. Maybe you are being overly cautious. She asked me to come with her. Just once, she said. We'll go together. That was the part that convinced me. Not him, her. Because I thought, if she is there, then it must be safe. That was my mistake. I remember the day clearly, strangely clearly, the kind of clarity that only comes with memories that never leave you. When we arrived, something felt wrong, immediately. I didn't have a reason, I didn't have proof, just a feeling. The house was quiet, too quiet. Not the kind of quiet that feels peaceful, the kind that feels empty, watching. We sat in the lounge, waiting. She seemed comfortable, too comfortable, like she had been there before. That thought crossed my mind, but I pushed it away. I told myself I was being paranoid, that everything was fine, that I just needed to relax. But my body didn't relax. My hands felt cold. My chest felt tight. And my thoughts kept repeating the same sentence, "You shouldn't be here." And still, I stayed, because leaving felt awkward, because I didn't want to offend anyone, because I didn't want to seem rude. It's strange, the things that keep you in a place you shouldn't be. When he appeared, something shifted, not dramatically, not in a way that would make you run immediately, but enough. Enough to make everything feel different. I remember looking at him and feeling something I hadn't felt before. Not confusion, not uncertainty, but awareness. I became aware that I had made a mistake. I wanted to leave. That thought became clear and sharp. Leave now. I stood up. I told myself I would go quietly. No explanation, no confrontation, just walk out. But nothing felt simple anymore. The air felt heavier. The space felt smaller. And the sense of control I thought I had was gone. I don't remember every detail in the straight line. Trauma doesn't work like that. It doesn't give you a clean sequence. It gives you fragments, feelings, moments that stay while others disappear. What I remember most is the feeling of being overwhelmed, of realizing too late that I was not in a safe place, that I had trusted the wrong people, that I didn't know how to fix it. I remember trying to leave again and failing, not because I didn't want to, but because everything around me made it harder than it should have been. And then something inside me changed. People often ask, "Why didn't you fight? Why didn't you scream? Why didn't you run?" But they don't understand what fear can do. Real fear. The kind that doesn't feel like a burst of energy, but like a weight, a pressure, something that slows you down instead of speeding you up. My body didn't respond the way I thought it would. It didn't react with strength. It reacted with stillness. I froze, not because I chose to, but because I couldn't do anything else. That was the moment I lost control, not just of the situation, but of myself. What happened after that is not something I will describe in detail, not because I don't remember, but because the details are not the point. The point is this. I went into that house as a girl who believed she understood the world, and I left as someone who no longer trusted it. After that day, I never returned to school. I couldn't. The thought of seeing him again, of walking those same halls, felt unbearable. So I left, quietly, without explanation. People noticed. Of course they did. They asked questions. They wanted answers. And I gave them something simple, something easy, something that wouldn't lead to more questions. I never told them the truth. I thought about going to the police. So many times. I imagined it over and over. Walking in, sitting down, telling someone everything. But then the fear would come. Not fear of him, fear of what would happen next. The questions, the doubt, the way people look at you when they don't fully believe you. I was 18. I didn't have the strength for that. So I stayed silent. And silence has a way of becoming permanent. Days turned into years. Years turned into decades. And the longer I stayed silent, the harder it became to speak. I built a life. From the outside, it looked normal, maybe even peaceful. But there were things I could never explain. why I kept distance from people, why trust felt fragile, why certain memories would return without warning. Trauma doesn't always live on the surface. Sometimes it hides in small reactions, in quiet fears, in moments that don't seem connected, but are. I carried it with me through everything, through every year, through every stage of my life. And now, at 85, I understand something I didn't understand then. Silence doesn't protect you. It protects the people who hurt you. I thought I was keeping myself safe, but all I was doing was keeping the truth hidden. And the truth has a way of waiting. I am not telling this story because I want sympathy. I am not telling it because I want to revisit pain. I am telling it because somewhere there is someone younger, someone quieter, someone just as unsure as I once was. And they are standing in a moment where something doesn't feel right. And maybe they will listen to that feeling, the one I ignored. Maybe they will leave. Maybe they will speak. Maybe they will trust themselves, even when others tell them not to. Because if I could go back, if I could stand in that moment again, I would listen to that voice, the one that said, "You shouldn't be here." I cannot change my past, but I can tell the truth about it. And sometimes that is the only way to finally let it go.